Okay. Now, in regard to the opposite end of the spectrum, the dog owners or the people that abuse or neglect these animals, do you feel that the penalties are harsh enough in our county and our state?
I believe they are if they're applied, properly. Now, we are not sworn law enforcement officers. We can't arrest people. Our fines are civil. Now, I do believe that animal abuse is something that is criminal, and it is criminal on our in our state statute. What I do think is that a lot of law enforcement, they really don't know that much about animal law, and so a lot of times where law enforcement should intervene and arrest that person, and then we would join in and help them make their case from our end of our knowledge world, then we could put that person away. Now, neglect, although we put those two in the same category, is something that's not quite the same. Neglect, you may started out with good intentions and then got overwhelmed by events, and all of a sudden it is your fault, but outside events have influenced the fact that you've let your dog get skinny, infected with fleas, get mange, whatever, because you don't have enough money to take it to the vet. But you're a parent. You need to offer that dog medical attention, even if you don't eat that week, even if you walk to work a couple of days, or you have to go and depend on the kindness of strangers. There's a lot of organizations. There's Florida Aid to Animals. There's ASPCA. There's a lot of organizations that if you are willing to go there and you show good faith, they will do everything in their power to help you with an animal issue. So that neglect part of it, that again is something you can prevent because you have control over that. You have control, and we do. We write the civil citation. We wrote several today on neglect charges, and they can be as simple as leaving your dog tethered in the backyard with no shelter and no shade and not a proper amount of water for a day's living in the backyard tied to a tree. You know, dogs have to have shelter, preferably three-sided at the very minimum, that they can get out of the rain, out of the wind, out of the cold. They have to have water present at all times. They don't have to have food present at all times because you don't have to feed a dog all day long.
Right.
They need to be fed once, maybe twice a day, depending on their activity level. But you do always have to have water, and you do always have to have shelter. So you need to make that in your mind. That is what I'm going to provide as a minimum.
Right.
And we're good from there.
Okay. Um, then, with your, what should actually people do whenever they witness the abuse or neglect? Should they call you? Should they call
They
law
should
enforcement?
absolutely call me. Our number is area code 321-633-2024, option 1. When the little voice menu starts, option 1, that brings you right into the people who make the call. Now, I need facts. I can't say I was driving by and I saw what might be. Give me facts. I want facts. And today everybody carries something that has a camera on it. If you see something really horrendous, snap a picture of it, send it via email. Get involved. If you would not believe the amount of anonymous complaints we get because I really don't want to get too involved, but there's a dog that's really being mistreated. Well, for us to make a case, now we can go out there and if we find that, that's great. But for us to make a case, we really need your input. You're the one who told us about this. You gave us our probable cause to go out there and look. But you can't remain totally anonymous. Now, we will respond to anonymous complaints and correct any situations we see. But if it gets to be a criminal situation or something so heinous that we really need all the help we can get to make sure this person is punished for this, you need to be involved. Get us as much information as you can, location, phone number, what it's tied to. Is it tied to a tree, a trailer, or what have you? It's at the corner of this and this, or it's right across the street from 456. I don't know what the address is. There's no address on, but give us as much information as possible. If you really want us to do something about it, then act like you're going to be the one to do something about it and take down that information like you're going to solve the problem, because the more you give us, the more effective we can be.
So it sounds like there needs to be more communication
Right.
between community
Exactly.
and services.
Exactly. And do this safely. I'm not telling you if you go by and you see a bunch of guys with a bunch of dogs and they look like they're getting ready to have a dog fight, don't go out there and say, "Can I get your names?" Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Right.
implying that. And
Right.
don't get out of the car. Don't go up, knock on a door, and say, "Hey, you shouldn't leave." You know, that kind of involvement puts you at risk. Also, we do not want you to be at risk in any way, shape, or form. But if you can safely get as much information as you can and give it to us, it makes our job easy. But your safety is more important than, like I say,
Right.
you don't go up and with your pencil and paper and start taking names.
Yeah, no, that would be bad. Now there right now is an internet hoax that's going around, and the hoax goes along the lines of calling for Halloween night being Kill a Pit Bull night. Is this something that Animal Services is kind of preparing for just in
haven't
case?
haven't heard. There goes one of our trucks. I haven't heard from it. Heard that actually. Actually, I changed it a little bit. It's adopt a pit bull night for Halloween night.
That would be
So
great.
go to the shelter and adopt a pit bull, because the pit bulls that we have for adoption have been temperament tested. We've checked them out. You know, they're good dogs. They're good dogs. I haven't heard of this hoax. We have an on-call officer that's on standby 24/7.
Okay.
If law enforcement has anything like that that's animal related, they call us. We work jointly with them, and we've done it in the past for all kinds of things. We used to have the same problem with Halloween and black cats. We cut off adopting black cats the week before Halloween and would not start it back until after Halloween was over, because everyone would come and adopt a black cat to have around the house for their
Right.
party, and then of course it meant nothing to them after Halloween. And so, but I hope that it's a hoax. I do not. I have a lot of faith in the people in this country of ours, and I don't think there's that many people out there that would be so cruel as to do that. If they are, first of all, if that thought ever crosses your mind, educate yourself on what you're about to do first. I gave you some literature; it's easily available, and you'll find out there's a lot of urban legends out there about the pit bull that aren't really true. Uh, yeah, there's a lot on our list, but a guy told me one time the Honda Accord is the most stolen car in the United States, but it's also the best-selling car in the United States. So, ergo, there's more of them to steal. So
Exactly.
the pit bull is almost in the same situation. There are a lot of pit bulls out there, a lot of them in pit mixes, and so statistically, they're going to be involved in all kinds of neglects and abuse, in bite cases, in all kinds of. So just statistically, they're going to be more of them, just because there are more of them.
Right.
So if our place was overrun with Chihuahuas, then we would have the Chihuahua discussion going on right now, but it's not. So it's just it's one of those things. Like I say, I had not heard of that hoax. It's cruel. Anyone, I think the measure of society is how we treat our weakest members. And if there's people out there that would go out and do harm to a defenseless animal, then that person doesn't really need to be in our society. So, and law enforcement and us will do everything in our power to make sure they come out of our society for, a little while anyway.
Well, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you taking
No
the time to
problem
talk
at
to me.
all. Thank you.
Thank you.